Hello, what nuts, Humpty Dump Nuts, Dallas Stump Nuts, Matt Rump Nuts, and Zoe Day Shanump Nuts. It is Thursday, April 4, U.S., and it's What Chaos. I am DJ Bean, that is Pete Blackburn, and that is Sean. Got knives on him. DePaz.
Stay strapped.
These are the three least strapped human beings that have ever been born.
Yeah.
I was scrolling through my pictures yesterday because I was looking for something, and I have gone shooting at actual guns one time out in the desert, and I look so goofy. Like, I look like the least menacing person to ever hold a gun ever. I'm wearing like a pink baseball hat backwards in like sweatpants. I don't think I.
You're crazy enough though. You have enough crazy like energy to you where if you had a gun, I'd be like, it doesn't shock me.
Oh, yeah. I could see you more being the Wire character that is, I believe he's a priest.
I haven't seen The Wire.
You know what I'm talking about? The guy who just clearly has never touched a weapon in his life, and he's the most dangerous motherfucker on the show.
Oh yeah. I forget it, but like he does have a gun.
I believe at some point he does have.
He kills Stringer.
I was gonna say he has a showdown with String. I assume String killed him. This may contain spoilers for the 1996 show The Wire. What was The Wire? 96?
No, it was later than that. Like I want to say like 99, maybe like early 2000s, 2001.
I mean, somewhere. I mean, it's just so dated that when you watch it, you're like,
yeah,
all these fuckers were on
all these like beepers and shit.
It's all about beepers and tapping landlines.
The Wire premiered on June 2nd, 2002.
2002?
No, really? 2002?
In a post 9/11 world.
The Wire is post 9/11?
Yeah.
That's good. They're like, yo, we figured out, like season 3, they're like, we figured out how to beat all this stuff. It's a cellular phone.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah. I'm seeing the chat saying that, they're going to have to do some hit chat today. DJ's pissed. I don't know what you all are talking about.
There's no hits.
I love fighting in hockey. I am so excited.
Huge Matt Rempe guy.
I'm a big Matt Rempe guy. I love what happened in this Devils Rangers game. I love how they were all dropping the gloves so much that I can't make any predictions or promises. I feel this conversation could take up the entire show, and we just might not have time for anything else. It might be the only thing we talk about, and there's no other things last night that happened that can get our attention.
This is a classic case of deflection.
Why?
Misdirection.
No. Deflection or shot blocking?
I would say deflection, because that was the most enjoyable thing that happened to you in hockey last night.
Oh, I loved it. I said, Reppy, what's he got? He's out there for the opening face-off. In all seriousness,
last night's slate was probably like your fucking nightmare blunt slate. It was a ton of fight, dominated by a ton of fights, and then immediately after that, the Oilers got their fucking asses kicked. That is like your absolute nightmare.
Did you notice something about our texting, whether one-on-one or in groups?
You were mad or quiet?
I just fucking turned it all off.
Yup.
I turned off the TV. I turned off my phone. I was like, this is what's great about all of these things that we love so much. And I had Brad Marchand's voice in my head. What did he say? Just let it go.
Mm-hmm.
Just I'm watching
this. You didn't let it go because you came into the office this morning and you were still like had a hair across your ass.
Oh yeah,
pissed at the Oilers,
just like kicking stuff and everything. So I knew, I was like, at some point I'm going to have to talk about all the stuff. So Dave, you've got, I don't know, like 11 hours, something like that, or probably like 13 hours. Enjoy them. Try to be in a better mood for when noon rolls around. But for now, you don't have to watch the third period of this game. You don't have to respond to text messages. You don't have to think about this even. And you can just go to bed. And I ended up staying up until like 2 o'clock in the morning because I couldn't sleep because I was so mad at the Oilers.
Yeah, that's not how that always works. But you started from a very weird place this morning because we were both sitting at our desk pretty quiet, and then all of a sudden, smoke started coming out of your ears unprompted, and you just go, I'm so fucking sick of the Dallas Stars narrative or whatever it was. So let's start there.
Okay, let's start there. You and I both, I think, have immense respect for the Dallas Stars. Going back to last postseason, and I remember we would do these daily hits for Bally, where we just do quick little recaps and breakdowns and stuff. Not a ton of time for grab ass. And basically, the refrain that we would often sing is, hey, this Dallas Stars team is one you don't want to play. It is very sound. It's very adult. It's very structured. It's very deep. It's all the things that you want in a team that could make a very deep run. And when we turn the page to this season and all the fun that we've had with all this shit, the Oilers, of course, doing all the things the Oilers have done, Predators not being allowed to go to U2, Torts doing whatever the fuck Torts is doing, the Boston Bruins, for some reason, being really good. The Hurricanes finally getting a scorer and being legitimately awesome. Through all of that, I feel like people are happening upon, who's really sound and fun and structured? The Dallas Stars. And I'm like, move off that shit, okay? Like, we understand they're one of many good things about the NHL. I feel that right now, and yes, it's because they just beat the absolute dick out of my team, but I just don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
I mean, I disagree. I fully disagree, honestly. I feel like the Stars have been under discussed for a long time. They've been a good team for this entire season, and we've barely talked about them. Well, I feel like we've talked about them more than a lot of other people have talked about them. But they absolutely deserve to be talked about, especially when you're throwing out, who are the best teams in the entire league and the West. And sure, the Oilers belong in that conversation, but I would say before the Oilers, if you're talking about, legitimate contenders, I think the Dallas Stars are above the Oilers. I think the Dallas Stars might be above most teams in the entire NHL.
I said in our group chat with Megan last night, I was like, yeah, the Dallas Stars are, the best playoff team. They're the best team for all of this. And I guess it was, we know, you've certainly been on that page. You've been.
I famously have a Dallas Stars Stanley Cup future.
Pete's got that Dallas Stars future. I think it was just the timing of it. And my entire Twitter, formerly known as X, feed was people saying, okay, this Stars team is good.
But it was last night's game was the exact embodiment of the narratives that we've attached to both the Stars and the Oilers, and it fully formed in front of our eyes. Where the Dallas Stars, and this is the issue that you took with the narrative, is that everybody keeps calling the Stars adults. They are adults, and they showed it last night. They played a very sound game, which is their DNA, is their identity. They play a very sound defensive game, but they will also fucking kick your ass on the forecheck, and they can score in bunches, and they can get great goaltending. They are a fully formed adult-ass team, while the Oilers still have that child in them, which the opposite of having that dog in them. They do have that dog in them, but they also have that puppy in them, and they can get exposed really quick when they make bad decisions. And they made a lot of bad decisions last night, and the Stars were ready to jump on them.
I mean, devotees of this show will know that there is a dead dog in our lives named Duke. And
yes.
if you heard us talk about Duke at all, the Oilers have that dog in them, but it's Duke, which is all the speed and energy in the world. Sometimes is going to just fucking crash into the wall, and you say, what was the plan there? Darnell Nurse.
Yeah, Darnell
What
Nurse.
was the
Darnell Nurse got fucking cooked last night, not only on the ice, but by the national broadcast. They spent like 10 minutes just torching him.
He got beat on the first 2 goals, which, whatever. Darnell Nurse is what he is. I remember the day that he signed his contract, which, by the way, he is in year 2 of an 8-year contract commanding a $9.25 million cap hit. He's got a full no move through 2027. I remember the day of the contract. I was rollerblading in South Boston. I was wearing a Leon Draisaitl shirt.
This too.
A guy is passing me and he's like, Oilers, sticks out his hand, gives me a high five. It's everything that I've wanted to happen while rollerblading. It doesn't happen often. And I pivoted, I switched around, skating backwards, and I was like, that's a horrible Nurse contract. And he was like, oh my God, he shouldn't be making over 8. And we're just getting farther and farther away, and we're breaking down this Darnell Nurse contract, which is to say, Oilers heads knew the second that contract was signed, of course, it was going to be bad. But man, Darnell, I love you. Clearly, you're a very good hockey player. You got hockey in your genes. You got that pedigree. You want to be a $9.25 million second pair defenseman. That is fine. You want to get beat on the first 2 goals against the Stars. It's not very fine because you're probably not coming back from a 2-0 deficit against the Stars. But I think the biggest the biggest crime committed by any Oiler last night, I don't even care that they started Pickard over Skinner. They had to do it for scheduling purposes. The biggest crime committed was in the second period. You'd just fallen down 2-0. It was only 1-0 after that first period, by the way. You'd fallen down 2-0.
And the Oilers hit 2 posts in the first period.
Yep.
They could have easily been winning in that period.
That game fell apart in the span of 4 minutes? They gave up
4 to 5 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, they gave up all those 4 goals in the second period.
And this is where you're leading. It fell apart after Darnell Nurse, basically.
So you are down 2-0. You're on the power play. It's the final seconds of the power play. The guy is getting out of the box, and you fucking pinch with nobody behind you and give up a 4-on-1.
And pinch on a loose puck that you weren't going to win. You were never going to win.
I forget who basically already had the puck. But you were more, that might be more challenging than pinching. Pinching is going up to get something.
That was more like cutting off the angle, which you weren't going to win the race to cut off the angle.
And granted, this is something that we have seen really all of my favorite defensemen do over the years. Famously, Dougie Hamilton did this in the playoffs against the Canadiens. And who is getting out of the box? PK Subban scored the easiest breakaway goal anyone has ever scored in their lives. But he pinches there. 3 goals, you could now say you've certainly been on the ice for, but 3 goals could potentially be attributed to you. He ended up on the ice for, I want to say, 4 of the 5 goals. I don't know. I think I was starting to get ready for bed after that 4th goal. But horrible, embarrassing shit out of Darnell Nurse and really the Oilers as a whole. I do want to at least give credit to the Stars. We were talking about how good they were before. They take away space in their defensive zone like fucking crazy. When you are playing the Oilers, you just have to concede that Connor McDavid is going to get looks and create space for guys. And Zach Hyman is going to sneak to the front of the net. There was just fucking nothing for those guys all game.
There were so many times where they tried to feed it to the point and just put pucks on net from the point. And they couldn't even do that because the defenders closed those gaps so quickly and just block shots and then send play the other way. So the Stars have it down low, they have it at the top of the zone, and they can score. And shout out Wyatt Johnston, hit 30 goals last night as a 20-year-old. You're talking about the Stars and kind of how the narrative has carried over from last year. That's true in a way, but they're so much deeper this year than they were last year offensively, because you add Matt Duchene, who haven't talked about him much. Matt Duchene's been really, really good for that team, but they've also got a full season of Wyatt Johnston, who's now a 30-goal scorer at 20 years old. Logan Stankoven has looked like he's been in the NHL for a couple years at this point. He's so good. Even Sam Steele had a great game last night. That team has, I would say, for my money, the best 4 lines in hockey.
Man, I don't know of a team whose players and even uniforms, we'll talk about that in a second, I like more than the Stars, where for some reason,
You
whenever I
lost me
hear
there.
somebody else talk about the Stars other than me and Pete, Sean, you're allowed to as well. I'm like,
you.
shut the fuck up
Did
about
you
the
say
Stars.
You like the
Well,
Stars jerseys?
I love Wyatt Johnston. I will always root for Tyler Sagan. I for sure love Rich Peverly, Stankoven, Jake Odd. Like there's so much to love about that team, but they're going to get in the way of the Oilers if the Golden Knights don't do it first. We'll also talk about that in a little bit. And maybe it's just that, like, I feel like people are late on it or whatever. I feel a little gatekeepy,
Yeah,
while
you have
also
that energy
wanting
right now.
the Stars to fail. I gotta crack open this book and find out.
Yeah, you're just like, you have a big hater energy right
Yeah.
now, 100%. And I think it's the panic in your eyes seeing that they're better than the Oilers.
Yeah, they're better than the Oilers. And let's do some SpongeBob font. Did the Oilers need this?
No. I don't think they
They
did.
needed a point. They needed to catch the Canucks. They need to not play the Golden Knights in the first round. They need to win the game. They needed Connor McDavid to generate points. He's not been doing that. They needed a lot of things that they didn't get last night. But can you say that was so embarrassing?
It was horribly embarrassing.
The most embarrassing game probably of the season for a team that famously lost the Oil Shark Bowl. That was a holy shit, humbling. Don't care that Pickard was in net. Pickard's been good this season. You could have won that game if you had an actual showing, or at least you could have made it a closer game. There can be good of being this embarrassed on national TV, where I saw a lot of people talking about this. Like, Louis isn't saying the stuff that Eddie Olczyk was saying last night about Darnell Nurse.
Mm-hmm.
I love Louis. They actually said what Louis said after that play, which was like, the Oilers just have to have better awareness there.
It's a nice way of putting it.
Really? The Oilers, do they all wear number 25?
I don't think they needed it, but I don't think that it hurts either. You know, like it's one of those things. It's a real wake up call, but like the Oilers Oilers shouldn't need that wake up call. Like,
how many wake up calls are you going to need this season?
Exactly. So, it's also one of those things too, where you said like they lost that game in a 4 to 5 minute span, and other than that, they were hanging around. Like they didn't get smoked over a 60-minute game. They made a couple mistakes and then they got caved in not responding to it.
It was 1-0 after the first period.
Right.
I was like hovering around my various betting perusal situations, being like, well, I bet the Oilers definitely looked like the inferior team through 20 minutes, but that game was not over after a period. It was over after the 5:48 in which they allowed 4 goals. I will say this. The Oilers play and host the Colorado Avalanche on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let them win that fucking game, because I will climb to the top of Mount Everest and sound the galvanized horn.
You might not be wrong. Stars have won 8 in a row, and Jake Ottinger, by the way, last 6 games, 6-0, 955 save percentage with back-to-back shutouts. Jake Ottinger, who for large chunks of the season hasn't looked like prime Otter, has been like probably like the biggest concern for me for a Dallas Stars deep run. I think you can take that off the table. He looks great and back to being prime Ottinger. So just all signs pointing in the right direction for the Dallas Stars right now.
Sounds like they're peaking too early. I did throw that on the Golden Knights the other night. I forget who they were playing. Oh, they were playing the Canucks.
Canucks, yeah.
And they just fucking smoked them. I'm giving the peaking too early label to the Golden Knights, just for hoping that they still haven't got. They're getting Hurdle back, I believe, tomorrow against the Coyotes.
Well, I think that like you look at those two matchups, and I think you can apply the same line of thinking to both of them. Like, Vegas is the adult team, and the Canucks, no disrespect to the Canucks, I've made this point so many times this year. The Canucks are, like, in my mind, not ready yet, because they haven't gotten their asses kicked in the playoffs. They haven't learned playoff lessons under Tocchet yet. I think Tocchet's a great coach. He's not going to have them underprepared for the playoffs, but there's just like certain things that you can't You can't learn unless you go through them. And how many times have you seen a team make a big jump in the playoffs, or a big jump period, and then have it immediately translate into a deep playoff run?
No, it's
it
usually
rarely
whack-a-mole.
ever happens.
It's usually whack-a-mole. Like they get up and then it's like, all right, well,
right.
see you fucking later.
How often does a team arrive and then just immediately make a deep playoff run? It doesn't happen.
Well, I can say that based on all that shit that went down, the Oilers are not catching the Canucks now.
No.
They are, I want to say, 7 points behind them. They do have a game in hand and they do play them, but
They just had to win out.
they had to go on a real run, and they don't look like a team right now that is I think they're kind of paying the piper for how easy their schedule was during that 17-game win streak, or 16 or 200 game, whatever it was. I think it was like 30 games they won in a row, NHL record.
Yep.
Strippers,
Congratulations.
whole fucking nine,
Cocaine.
popping the
Guns.
guns.
They are 7 points behind with 2 games in hand. So.
I still think that's.
I think we got to ask the
out of
question:
hand,
can the
out of
Oilers
reach.
catch the Canucks? I think that they're looking very good to catch them. I will take this hit. Connor McDavid has 1 point in 2 games since I declared him the clear-cut and obvious Art Ross winner.
We all know how this is going to play out. He's going to have 4 points per game.
He's going to go on this crazy run. Sean, do you have the updated Art Ross? All right, so McDavid has 8 games remaining to Kucherov and McKinnon's 7, but he's going to have to toss a 4-pointer out there at some point, which it's Connor McDavid. They're playing the Coyotes at some point coming up. He'll be able to do that, but a little less, I would say, obvious that he's going to finish with the Art Ross. Still for sure can, but it's taken a real hit the last 2 games. I have seen, you know what, Oilers Twitter has theorized?
What?
Look at his stat line.
Oh,
That
he's holding the line for 29 goals for Leon Draisaitl and 97 points for his own number. But that's some Zach Hyman erasure if I've ever seen it.
There is, I believe the phrasing has been, he is committing too strong. He is committing too strong to finishing with 29.97, which I did see a lot of stuff yesterday. I think it was from maybe J Fresh Hockey that was talking about the dark days of like Jamie Benn leading the NHL with 87 points, basically saying, if you weren't around for this, I don't want to hear your takes on any sort of Art Ross race or anything. And I was like, yeah, like either he's a What Chaos listener or just like seeing this awesome Art Ross race, you're like, man, thank God we have shit like this where you just got 3 motherfuckers going the hell off. And not long ago, we were like, is a goalie having a good season?
Even when Kucherov had that like 125-point season when the Lightning were just winning every regular season game and then they lost in the first round.
2019.
Like that season, I remember looking at his numbers and being like, yo, these numbers are ridiculous. And now like 5 guys are around that sort of neighborhood. It's like we said when we had that discussion, like being a 40-goal scorer even 5-6 years ago was you were the best player in the world.
Yeah, like, have you considered running for office?
Right. So the game has changed for real.
Sean, we're going to put you on the spot here. Could you grab one of these Stars blackout jerseys if you don't have it? Because that ended up being both personal conversation with me and Pete and also a little Twitter discourse. I saw the Oilers Twitter was making fun of these jerseys. And as soon as I see them hit the ice, whenever I do, I think I'm not buying one of these, but I love them.
I don't love them, and I definitely
Because you
wouldn't
hate
buy
them.
I hate them. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I hate them. They look like roller hockey jerseys. I will say I like the logo on the front. Like I like the outline of Texas with the Dallas Stars D. Like the Stars have bad branding. I don't love their logo. I think their jerseys are fine, but the logo just stinks. I prefer the Winter Classic D from a couple of years ago with the star in the middle.
That classic D.
Yeah, I love a good big D on my chest. Like that's that I love that logo. But the one that they have now is just very boring, and the one thing that I like is the outline of the state of Texas on those uniforms. The neon green just doesn't do it for me, and it doesn't fit the identity of the Stars right now. Like those are some kid ass jerseys, and that's an adult ass team.
I will say the Stars don't have a super big identity. I think that if you look at the team themselves and the roster, obviously we're going to be good at everything, and we're not going to try to lean into, oh, we have the best this thing. They're just like 9s across the board, which is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
These jerseys hit the ice so well. Granted, I am also a big fan of the Oilers Navy jerseys, which I would say are probably the closest thing in the NHL to these from a design
the closest thing in
polarization standpoint.
The closest thing to the Oilers jerseys are the Islanders jerseys.
Yeah, but those don't count because those are just dumpy ass, trash, stupid ass, bitch ass, stupid ass, dumbass, stupid shit. These at least
they don't mesh with the Stars. Like the Stars have a lack of identity. I agree with you, but it's certainly not that.
Yeah, but if you have a lack of identity, why don't you? It's like don't name a captain. Just try things out.
Famously, the Stars did name a captain.
They do have
that guy lacks identity too.
Well, he has identity, but it's not good behavior.
Right.
It's weird behavior.
Are you talking about the
Junior Soprano?
Yeah.
Thing? Yeah.
That's weird behavior for sure.
I wish there was not to the point of killing, but I wish there was so there's a Junior Soprano in the NHL.
Mm-hmm.
I would love, with a happier ending, a veto of the NHL.
So he's a gay person?
Just a huge gay person with bad hips.
Okay.
And he's always sleeping on the bench. I wasn't sleeping. and he's also the captain of the team. Vito, get out there. Vito, I wasn't sleeping.
And he wears ridiculous things to the rink and just says it's a prank.
Yeah. That's my favorite thing.
It's a joke. It's a prank.
Vito, this has been put out there a lot. Vito was the original "it's a prank, bro" guy. If anybody doesn't know what I'm talking about, there's a show called The Sopranos, and a very good earner for Tony Soprano's crew named Vito Spatafor, who's a married man, has a family. It turns out is a closeted gay man, and he is outed in a very compromising situation.
A gay nightclub.
This is organized crime in the early 2000s. It's just rampant with homophobia, and he plays it off as a prank and just doesn't know what to do. And it sucks because I love the Vito character and his story and everything. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, what he did to that guy in New Hampshire, I can't say I like Vito. Right. I thought about this. You don't see any.
You're not supposed to like anybody in that show, basically.
It's all anti-heroes. You never see kids named Vito these days.
It's true.
And I was thinking of recommending it to somebody, and then I was like,
based off of what?
He killed Jackie Jr., which the Jackie Jr. thing had to happen.
Even Don Vito didn't have the best
That's true.
track record.
Are there Vitos who had happy
Vito?
endings? Wait, is Don Vito is the jackass guy?
Yeah.
Yeah,
or
okay.
Viva La Bam.
Yes, Viva La Bam.
Yeah.
You're not seeing a lot of kids named Bam either.
No, definitely not.
Bam doesn't do good behavior. He irons hamburgers onto his dad's shirts.
Adebayo.
What's that?
Adebayo.
Bam Adebayo, that's right.
The only one I can think of.
Yeah.
Bam Bam Bigelow.
Bam also beat up his dad a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of domestic violence with Bam.
Well, Bam's got a lot of problems. We can be honest.
That is true.
Chat says Tyler Seguin gives off.
Oh yeah,
and has a bad hip.
Yes, famously has a bad hip. Is very pro-gay, which
he also had that tweet a long time ago that said,
"Yes, only steers
and queers live in Texas, and I don't have horns or something,
and I'm not a horse or something, or
something
I'm not a bull."
So
this story's been said
Vito
a bunch
Seguin.
This story's been said a bunch of times. The reason I say I'll always root for Tyler Seguin, I covered him a million years ago. He was not my favorite person to deal with, but still had a good heart. He could just be a little bratty, but he was a star player from Toronto. He was 18 years old, wasn't like an actual bad person, was like really nice.
Just didn't fully have his shit together.
Various points, didn't have his shit together, but as we've seen him get his shit together, he's awesome.
Yeah.
So I love him, and I root for him for that shit, because my goal for anybody, this should be the case, if you got some bad tweets, and you got to, like, the goal should be, don't have bad tweets anymore. Learn, have a positive impact on your community, and he does. And it's why when someone has a bad tweet, I hope we don't fucking light them on fire and throw them in the garbage, because I think that Tyler Seguin has been a massive net positive for the NHL in his time. Having a star player who's as like big an ally across the board as Seguin's been. So shout out Tyler Seguin. I'm always going to root for that guy, and especially if he's wearing one of those fine ass, what are they called? Blackout jerseys?
Yeah.
And because of that, next time I am on Prize Picks, which will be very soon, because let me tell you, it is just the best daily fantasy sports platform in North America. I can promise you, I'm going to be saying, Tyler Seguin, why don't you get out there and score me a goal? I'm not going to be doing one of these bad behavior things. I read a story about how people are so much meaner to athletes now because they're betting. And when they lose bets based on athletes, they tweet bad things at them. I won't do that to Tyler Seguin. I don't know if he's on Twitter anymore. I think he had to get rid of it for good, which maybe not
Maybe
the worst
for the
move.
best. Yeah.
But whatever. He grew up, and I love him. Whether it's playoff basketball, which is coming up, playoff hockey, the NCAA tournament, you've heard us talking about it across the board, both in hockey and in basketball, men's and women's. Prize Picks is just where you want to be. It is the #1 daily fantasy sports platform in North America. You heard me say that. You've also heard me say that you can 100x your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10 into $1,000 with basketball, hockey, and college basketball entries today on Prize Picks. And it's got something for every sports fan. Basketball, hockey, League of Legends. I'm telling you, you can bet on Jude Bellingham. You can pick LeBron James, Caitlin Clark, Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, Tyler Seguin, all in the same entry. Go to prizepicks.com/whatchaos and use code whatchaos for a first deposit match up to $100. That's prizepicks.com/whatchaos and use code whatchaos. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy.
This episode also brought to you by Manscaped. We're a big fun fact duo here. This isn't really a fun fact. It's more of a did you know? But did you know that 1 man every hour, every day is diagnosed with testicular cancer? It's a lot of diagnosis of testicular cancer. In fact, testicular cancer is the most common form of cancer amongst men aged 15 to 35. And April is National Testicular Cancer Awareness Month. So our friends over at Manscaped have partnered with the Testicular Cancer Society to help spread awareness for men's health and early cancer detection. So, you know, we care about our health. We've talked about it. We care about our mental health, care about our physical health. So love this move by Manscaped. Love Manscaped's product. We've talked about it plenty of times in the past. The Lawnmower 5.0, all of its features. It is the most high-end shaver you've ever seen in your life. It's got LED lights. It's waterproof. Does the job. So if you want to take care of yourself, your hygiene, but also take care of those in the testicular cancer game, visit manscaped.com/TCS to learn how to check yourself for early signs of cancer. And as always, you can use promo code WhatChaos for 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. That's manscaped.com/TCS and use the code chaos for 20% off and free shipping.
I love that. Manscaped got a customer for life for that. That is terrific. Lost a dear friend to testicular cancer. It's no good. So shout out Manscaped. Loving that. Tell you what, I've been thinking about, speaking of causes in men, do I just fucking do a mustache for the playoffs?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Maybe.
For the oils?
Yeah, like do I like slowly make myself a little more plain view every day, dress in a lot of browns, perhaps?
Yeah, I think that as long as they're in it, commit to it.
That's what fucking sucks, man. They are for sure playing the Golden Knights in the first round.
Not sure how I feel about you impeding on my mustache ground.
Oh, true.
We have first off, I want to say
you got the chin though.
no, but this is just because I haven't shaved in a few days. Like I've been rocking straight mustache if I'm clean shaved.
Yeah.
But I was also gonna say I resent that you started that Manscaped read by saying a fun facts duo and just left me out of that completely because
Oh, yeah.
I feel like I'm a big fun fact guy.
All right. Well, I mean, I would assume that you were a fun fact guy as well, but me and DJ famously have talked about putting out a book of fun facts.
I mean,
a coffee table book of fun facts.
I'm in.
All right.
I'm a huge fun fact guy.
I still want to do it.
That was light, Sean. I'll give you that. Like we
feel like it's kind of my personal brand.
I thought you were gonna say like I wasn't a big fan of you starting off that read with, hey, do you like fun facts, and then immediately transitioning to a lot of people die from testicular cancer.
There's that too.
No, that's a fact. You got to know that shit.
It's not a fun fact though.
Yeah.
It's
correct.
It's an important fact.
It's an important fact.
Yeah.
So, I think that we should still do the book.
Still the book at some time? Yeah. Why not? We got big things coming, and I'm really not kidding. I have thought about to let you know our business. We have a lunch today.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna go to lunch. And
are we going to lunch or are we ordering lunch?
We're gonna go. I think we're gonna go to lunch.
I don't know. It's pretty shitty outside.
It's shitty outside. Yeah. What do you think, Sean?
I mean, it's not shitty inside. Insert random restaurant.
It's true. But
That's
then you got to
true.
find parking and you got to walk into the restaurant.
Depends
where
we're
the
in the
location
suburbs.
is.
I don't think we're going to downtown Boston. I feel like if we go to a restaurant,
we can discuss after the show.
Trouble getting parking.
I think the move would actually be to discuss it now for like 20 minutes.
Send your restaurant recommendations.
Yeah, show meeting about this show meeting
planning committee
we're going to have.
Committee.
But to get a little head start on that, I have thought about. I watched There Will Be Blood at the beginning of every NHL postseason, famously to Pete and my friend Rich.
Mm-hmm.
2 people in the world know that. Now hundreds do. Sean.
I knew that already too.
I was thinking about maybe as like team bonding, like here we go, we're going to be doing a bunch of stuff together for the next couple of months sort of thing, renting a theater and having the 3 of us just watch There Will Be Blood together.
I didn't think you were going to go that big, but I love that.
That would rock.
That would be
that
could
be the best night of my life.
That would be awesome.
I feel like, should we do that?
I mean, I would be done. I would be down.
I mean,
that
we either
cool.
do that or we do like a movie night at one of our houses and like we bring blankets, bring snacks.
Oh,
like a borderline sleepover situation.
That would be great. Does
24-hour stream at Pete's house?
Yes. I've also thought about potentially we could open it up to the world. Have a There Will Be Blood screening.
Invite local whatnots to the theater?
Yeah, invite local. I'll tell you what, I don't think any of our listeners are from Boston.
No, there definitely are.
There are some, yeah.
Think about how many people we met at the Garden. And
That's
then
true.
We met different whatnots when Pete and I were at the Garden for Hockey East.
True?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Different people?
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Could you tell if they're certified whatnuts or if they're just people who know us from
No,
Barry?
they were
whatnuts. Honestly,
they asked for $1.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
And
they were like college girls. I was surprised.
A lot of our listeners are girls. Always have been, always will be.
I was gonna say
have
it was a little weird for me because I'm used to being around you guys and people like recognizing you guys and not knowing who I am. And I think they did recognize who I was, but I wasn't prepared for that. So like I was just still sitting down and they called us over kind of, but I just assumed they were just calling Pete over.
We had also very before that.
Yeah, that is true. I guess that was that point of
some edibles.
I guess that is true.
And
I didn't think about that part.
We were both like, what's going on right now?
Yeah, and then they like turned to me, and then like one of the women saluted to me, and I was just like, oh, she definitely knows who I am. As they were leaving, and I was like, fuck, that was weird. But
Do they know about? Well, let's just give a little peek. They don't know about baseball bets, right?
No,
we're gonna do baseball bets. This postseason.
So I did want to bring this up. We are gonna do we want to announce we haven't we have the meeting obviously coming up, but like. We want to do a stream.
For sure, we'll have an opening night thing.
We're going to do an opening night stream before the playoffs, and it's going to be a big like event stream, sort of like the trade deadline stream. And the big thing that I want to do is I want each of us to pick the series and fill out brackets or whatever, but have individual bets, challenges, stakes and challenges tied to each series prediction. And if you get it wrong, you have to complete the challenge or like the bet or whatever it is. And
That was your idea.
that's my idea.
My idea was I don't fucking care what we do on this thing. We need to do baseball bets. Which
DJ
is
wants to do baseball
if you
bets.
lose the bet, you have to go to a baseball game.
Which is just the funniest thing in the world to me. Like, because
That's a treat for you.
It is literally like if you're telling me stop what you're doing and go to a baseball game.
But
every time.
But that's the thing, though. It's like stop what you're doing.
Literally,
Go to a baseball game right now.
There is nothing that I could be doing that I would rather be doing. There's almost nothing I could be doing that I would rather be doing than go to a baseball game.
So if we told you right now, fucking
you have 36 hours to go to a baseball game.
Go to a baseball game.
What if the Red
Have
Sox are
fun.
Leave
on
right
the
now.
road?
We need to know you're
I'm
at a
going to
baseball
Worcester.
game within the next 3 hours.
I'm
Get to a baseball
I'm going
game.
to Worcester. Have fun trying to figure out how to end the show.
We wouldn't know.
Like I'm going.
It'd be a 24-hour stream until you got back.
Fair enough. I'm going to
I
Worcester.
would go to like a high school baseball game.
That's
I
the
would
thing,
go
you
to
can
like
go to
I would go to like Waltham High baseball game.
I never even thought about high school baseball. Yeah, fuck it. Go to a little
Kids
league
game, whatever. You have to
Yeah.
go by yourself, though.
Yes,
dude. I
and
spent
you have to document
most
it.
of my
you have to
free
tell us
time.
about it on the next show.
I spent most of my free time in Arizona, which is going to make me sound very lame, going to baseball games by myself last summer. Like, it was my favorite thing to do. I would go. Worcester, the Woo Sox are playing the Buffalo Bisons in a doubleheader tomorrow. I'd be there, easy.
And the
weather
part
sucks,
of the baseball game bet is you still have to fucking do your show and come prepared.
Yeah.
So if Pete loses the fucking baseball bet and has to go to a Red Sox game, he's got to go for, what would it be, 5 innings before it be to count as an official game?
Yeah.
You got to be there for the anthem through the game being official. And if you want to leave after that, nothing I can do to stop you. But your ass is fucking talking hockey the next day. So you have to go home, have that shit DVR'd and watch all those games. I don't want to see you fucking playing video games.
No.
I want to see you doing like, it's going to, especially in the playoffs where we're all going to be tired, it's going to hurt to have to fucking lose 5 hours to going to a baseball game.
Trust me, I like that makes it even better. The fact that we would be tired and exhausted and like so deep in hockey, if you're telling me go take a break for a few hours and watch baseball, easy.
The most important question to come from this conversation is somebody said, are they called the Woo Sox? Yeah. There's a baseball team called the Woo Sox. They're the Worcester Red Sox.
They went from the Paw Sox to the Woo Sox.
Paw Sox, so much cooler than the Woo Sox.
So much cooler, I agree, although I love the smiley face logo for the Woo Sox.
I do too. It's pretty cute.
It's fun.
But
Nothing beats the Sea Dogs.
The Sea Dogs are solid.
Sea Dogs rock.
Yeah.
that's going to be such a team building thing. I can't
Trip
wait
to
to
Portland?
take Sean to like 19 Sea Dogs games.
I have still never been.
You've never been to a Sea Dogs
I've never
game?
been
I would
to a
do
Sea
anything.
Dogs
You
game.
love
I've
Portland,
been to
Maine.
Portland so many times, and I've never been to a Sea Dogs game.
That's crazy. And you're like a last 5 years convert, we'll say.
Mm-hmm.
How is that not part of your like, I'm going to do all these things because like you
Because
like,
I do all the things in Portland, and like Sea Dogs pretty far down the list.
And now
like
Emily's
I'm
in the-
sacrificing some.
Emily's
stuff.
in the chat talking about my Arizona Diamondbacks minor league baseball teams. So now I'm juiced to the moon now.
someone called you Sean DePossock. We've gotten a lot of good puns for our own names today. I got DJ LL Bean. That was said
Mhm.
today.
Money.
I love doing bean boots on set. It's very somebody. I remember one time I was wearing them and someone said DJ has an Adam Sandler look going today. I'm positive it's because I was just fucking wearing normal clothes and then bean boots. I don't think he has bean boots.
Adam
But
Sandler look is oversized gym shorts and an oversized t-shirt.
yeah,
That's what I think of.
but it's
the
also a
Adam
little
Sandler.
like clashy.
It's
I think.
Yeah,
clashy. It's like colored pants.
I would say you put more thought into what you wear than what like Ben Affleck or not Ben Affleck.
Adam Sandler.
Adam Sandler just like I feel like picks whatever
Whatever's on
t-shirt
top
and
of the
basketball shorts
on
are at the
top
top
of
of
his
the drawer.
drawer, yeah.
Exactly.
We haven't talked about it at all.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
wearing.
I've been waiting for this.
I'm wearing. Can we get a little Dave cam? This is. Talk for me, Pete.
The Columbus Blue Jackets are the best shirt from the Pro Shop that, by the way, is now live on our YouTube. But the Pro Shop Wars Columbus edition, which was previously lost, has since been found. It was found a while ago, and we just never fucking told you about it.
Yeah, two things. Liam, it was in the chat earlier, and I just think I don't know if he wasn't following the Twitter or what, but it was like, makes me wish I knew how the video, or I knew how that t-shirt was purchased. And I said, buddy, do we have a surprise for you? If you don't know, Pro
Columbus
Shop is
Blue
live.
Jackets.
And
And
also, I've seen some people accuse us of lying and just like doing a long con April Fool's joke. We did genuinely
We
lose the
genuinely
footage.
Yeah,
lost
this-
the Blue
it
Jackets
was
Pro
missing for a
Shop
while.
and
For months. Like,
yeah, like
months.
we had written
Yeah.
it off as
We
we
thought
were
it was gone.
we'll never
Yeah.
find that again. Ironically enough, you found the SD card as we were preparing to go to Toronto for the All-Star game, like our biggest trip.
Yeah.
And
Then
you
we just got
found
more
it
content
not
in the
by
bag.
like packing your bags, but by loading your stuff into your car. And the SD card was in between like the buckle hole.
I was. One of my friends said today, "Wait, what? You posted that? How'd you find this thing?" And it took me 10 minutes to be like, "What is that fucking area of the car called?"
Yeah.
The buckle hole, where the
Backseat.
vagine of the seatbelt is, and it's on its little cloth thing, and that little area. I saw. This makes me believe in God, quite frankly. I saw a guitar pick, which famously I use 2 guitar picks. One is a lime green Dunlop Tortex. One is mockingly this stupid James Hetfield Fang thing that I actually really like the grip on. But one of those lime green guitar picks was there, so it caught my eye, and I was like,
I love that.
oh my God. Oh my God. And it was honestly very similar to in the Pro Shop Wars, if you watch this, when Sean and I realized that the glove I'm wearing is a Seth Jones glove.
Yeah.
Sean, you could hear Sean go, no.
Incredible. Also, this Pro Shop Wars was the
It was a
biggest
banger.
testament to understanding each other's tastes,
Yeah.
because there was multiple times during the Pro Shop Wars where I said DJ's definitely getting this, and then DJ would say Pete's definitely getting this, to the point where you were like, he's definitely getting this, and then I brought out the shirt and you were like, well, that's not the one that I thought you were gonna get. And I was like, I tried to get the other one, but they didn't have my size.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
That was like the most uncanny, like we are synced up
Mhm.
kind of
And
thing.
meanwhile, for me, it was like the epitome of dramatic irony. I was just sitting there the whole time being like, the audience knows something that the talent doesn't.
Oh, amazing. That was a really good Pro Shop.
It was.
Shout out
It was.
Todd and the Blue Jackets. I mean, we had such a good time with the Blue Jackets.
I don't think it was in the video because I did it afterwards, but that's also got I got my Cannon jersey.
Oh right.
Yes,
yeah, yeah.
that's right.
Yeah, I don't love the Blue Jackets branding whatsoever. I don't like their jerseys all that much. I was expecting to like not spend any money and not be impressed by anything at the Pro Shop. They've got a very sneaky and unexpectedly great Pro Shop.
The reason I set the budget at $9,000 was because we were saying going into it, like, they better have like gum or something, because we're going to be struggling to hit whatever. Even like we do like the joking, oh, it's a $25 budget. We're like, we're not going to fucking want anything in there. And there was so much good stuff. Like, is the Stinger hat here? I mean, folks have probably seen that a couple of times by now.
Yeah, it's behind the
But
bop it.
I love all the Stinger stuff. I like that Stinger, once we lost the SD card, got in on Shaw.
There it is.
That Stinger got in on the SD card thing and was saying that he had it, and because we couldn't find it, we were like,
There's a non-zero chance he has it.
Stinger have it?
Yeah.
Like, did Stinger actually take it?
And he threatened us. He threatened us multiple times. He said that we met his ransom today.
Yes.
Which is why he returned it to us.
Mhm.
I love though that people thought that it was an April Fool's Day joke because we joked that,
Well, we did
we'll
joke-
just drop it business as usual. But
We
that
did
was
have the
not it.
plan that we were going to drop it this week, not on April Fool's Day, but then like it came up on April Fool's Day, so that was part of like a sneaky plan. Did we want to talk about the line brawl at all? Do you have any thoughts on that? You pro or
I mean,
anti-line brawl?
We opened the show talking about it and went the entire show, didn't have time to talk about any Oilers at all. No, I'm never going to bullshit the audience, famously. It's not for me. I didn't dislike it. I thought it was kind of cool, to be honest, that two teams tried a kind of old-fashioned tactic to get themselves going. Both teams, get this, both teams coming off losses to the Penguins.
Mhm.
And the Devils really...
That'll make anybody want to fight somebody.
The Devils, I think don't know what we know, which is they've been sucked off.
No,
they're
I think
done.
the Devils. No, their season's done.
So the Devils were either making a last gasp or maybe exercising some demons, blowing off some steam.
Well,
I get why the Devils would say, fuck it, whatever. I think that more they were obliging the Rangers, which is there's this thing in the fighting community.
I think it's the opposite.
Why?
Because it was Rempe having to answer for hurting the two Devils guys in the previous two meetings, and like McDermott wouldn't fight the previous time.
So it
was more like everybody knew that was coming between those two.
Well, I knew that was coming because the only time I've seen Matt Rempe play, he's fighting guys in the Devils.
That's true. I mean, the Matt Rempe. I keep saying Rempe. It's Matt Rempe.
It is Rempe, and I said Rempe out the gate, and then we established, oh yeah, it is Rempe. But then enough people say Rempe that I just
been conditioned to say Rempe.
Yeah.
And, Matt Rempe's career stats versus the Devils, incredible. One of the funniest stat lines I've seen in all my time watching hockey. 3 games played versus the Devils, a total of 5 minutes and 3 seconds time on ice. That's like 1 minute and 10 seconds per game, and 47 penalty minutes, 3 ejections.
I saw a graphic that had that information, and truly, because the Matt Rempe experience has been so stupid, and because arguably I'm so stupid, I was like, tonight? Because it was like Matt Rempe versus the Devils is wild, and it was that, and I was like, 3. Is that like where you get like concurrent life sentences?
3 ejections.
Yeah. Where they're like, number 73 has been issued 3 ejections. He will never see the light of day again.
An immediate suspension delivered in that form. Morgan Riley has cross-checked Ridley Gregg in the face. He has been ejected for 7 games.
And he has to take the ice every game ceremonially, immediately get kicked out, and then the team has to play with fewer players.
What if we just had red cards in hockey? Like you get shown the red card, it's like, oh fuck, that's a game. Like you're done.
I like Brad Marchand too much. I don't want that.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm a Brad Marchand guy. That would suck. Who would get? Yeah, Marchand would get a lot of reds.
I mean, Rempe would have been suspended as many games as he's played at this point.
That's true.
Rempe.
They'd call him Red Pay.
Red Pay. Nice.
Red Foo. With a big ass fro.
I don't like I typically don't like the staged fights unless there's bad blood between two guys, which Rempe and McDermott clearly did. I misspoke, by the way. McDermott wanted to fight Rempe, and Rempe wouldn't do it. And then that's when, remember we talked about loser behavior when he waved goodbye after not fighting Curtis McDermott? Yeah, like that was loser behavior, and that was the lowest I've ever bet on Matt Rempe. Kind of a little bit of reclamation.
Yeah, I saw a clip of McDermott saying that Rempe earned his respect. After that, because
he famously said that he lost his respect after that game. But I like when it's off the opening faceoff between two guys who have bad blood, just getting it out of the way rather than having them chase each other fucking down. That shit's weird and dangerous. I don't like when that happens. When one guy like stalks another one and then forces him to fight, just do it off the opening faceoff. I'm cool with that. And a line brawl off the opening faceoff is always cool. Honestly, a line brawl at any point in time is always cool.
Agreed.
I know that you don't love fighting, but seeing all 10 guys fighting, super cool.
Yeah, I'm not going to like it as much as everybody else, especially when it is staged. I think that stage thing, similar to what you said, just doesn't really do it for me. And I know that I'm not as excited by fighting as everybody else, but I understand Rempe is the center of attention for people who are into that kind of thing. And this is the most grand fashion in which it's happened. So
I will say,
pretty cool. I'm not hating.
I don't think the entire thing was planned because the Devils coach, whose name is escaping me right now, said that
Travis Green.
Yeah, the guy who did Miller end up fighting when he gave him the short?
I don't know, but I was unfamiliar with his game.
Yeah,
John Marino.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and he was like, he would not have been on the ice if we knew there was going to be a line brawl.
Keandre Miller did the
too short,
too small,
too small. Yeah,
too small thing. The too small taunt. I've taken notice of that in my shit list now. Keandre Miller.
Bit of a scam, that one.
Yeah, bit of an asshole, bit of a scammer. A real Ponzi scheme, that guy. Somebody did point out that Ponzi scheme was named after a guy who's like 5'6". So
That's pretty tall for you.
fuck you. Yeah, no, I don't think that it was fully planned at all.
I mean, yeah, obviously
But
they expected a fight, not just a
That's
line brawl.
what makes it cooler, that
Yeah.
it wasn't staged between all 10 guys and it just kind of transformed into a line brawl. I think if there's a line brawl going on, they have to remove the rule that if you cross the red line as a
Agreed.
goaltender, the goaltender should be allowed
I
to
agree.
fight.
Open it up. We're doing
every-
stuff.
If everybody's fighting, you got to allow the goalies to fight.
I agree.
And I also don't like that they ejected 8 guys. Like,
I also agree with that.
I can't remember the last time I've seen a line brawl, period, but a line brawl in which everybody immediately got ejected.
Do you know who you share that take with?
No.
Mike Felger was railing against
Really?
that last night. He was very upset that they ejected a bunch of guys. He
Yeah.
was like, they're willing combatants. It was a line brawl.
You don't kick
What
a
are you
guy out.
doing?
You don't kick a guy out for fighting. Period.
I did like, though, that the Rangers had to play the entire game with 4 defensemen.
That's tough.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. It just kind of derails the entire game after that, which I guess you're kind of doing when you do a line brawl at the opening.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, it
yeah.
shouldn't derail the entire game.
Yeah, I agree.
Since when does a line brawl fucking derail an
I
entire
agree.
game?
My favorite part of line brawls is when the coaches start going at it, and you always have the guy
Got
in
some of
between the
that, too.
benches, and the coaches start yelling at each other. That's always my favorite.
We got
Travis
some-
Green did a little bit of like, what do you say, fuck me for? with Peter Laviolette last night.
We got
So.
some good stuff from the chat. It's actually Matt Rumpy. It's Matt Rumpty Dumpty. Matt Rumpus time. I also like the DJ Being Nice guys. Please come on. That's very good. Yeah.
Nice.
I generally want people to be nice. I don't want them fighting. Use your words.
That's the other thing. How did the 2 guys? Who were the 2 guys that got to stay on the ice?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't really know how that was decided.
Like everyone fought.
Was it Marino? They were just like, they felt bad
Yeah,
for him
you
because he
guys
got
ass
made
kicked
fun
too
of.
bad.
Yeah, that was. I think it's cool when I think that it's cool. Period. But it's also cool seeing non-hockey fans kind of be like, "Damn, this sport's crazy." Like anytime that happens, it's kind of
PK
cool.
Subban liked it?
No, I did. No, the line brawl ended up in conservative Twitter yesterday.
What?
Yeah, conservative grifter Twitter. I saw like one of those like big stupid accounts that posts everything with like this just in, or like Sydney Sweetie,
They
her
must have
family might be MAGA. Blah,
Hated
blah,
the
blah.
Miller fight.
Like one of those accounts posted this like this just in, full brawl at Madison Square Garden, and like
Did they like it? Oh, you
Yeah,
said
they liked
they
it.
hated.
They probably hated the Miller fight.
why?
I mean, that's a black man beating down on a
Dude, Shaw, I'm
good
going to
old
show
Italian
you.
boy,
And then taunting him after.
and then taunting him afterwards.
That's true.
I'm going to show you my greatest contribution to television ever. It was a few years ago. The NFL had named their top 100 players, and among them were Sammy Baugh and like a bunch of these like old timey quarterbacks. And I was fucking ranting about how if
The
you
worst.
played football in the 1950s, you
didn't
weren't
play
very
football.
good.
You
You're
didn't
not
really
one of the
play
best. Bro. And I did this thing. I'm listing off all the goalpost was at the front of the end zone. Like I was watching highlights. He threw it to number 50, who immediately crashed into the front of the end zone. They didn't have black people. In, like all this, like the talent pool was super diluted. And Matt Castle was there on set. I was like, Matt, like you're better than fucking Sammy Baugh and Otto Graham and all these guys. And I ended it with like, for example, like if these people saw, I don't know, like Jason Campbell, they would have freaked out.
Yeah.
And Michael Hawley immediately was like, yeah, it's because of black quarterback. What's that guy doing out there?
The chat saying that the 2 who fought first got to stay in the boxing and not get kicked out of the game, but that doesn't make sense to me.
Well-
wouldn't it be Rempe?
5 for copycat.
Wouldn't it be Rempe and McDermott? Like those were the guys that sparked that.
Yeah, but I think it's kind of like a instigator type thing where it's like those 2 guys, they started it.
Yeah, but
There was-
that's what I'm saying. Like that was clearly the main event.
yeah, but they weren't like if you're the
Did
first
they
ones
not-
to
did
go
they
it.
not like? Did their gloves not hit the ice first, so they don't count as the
No,
first
but like
fight?
if you're the first ones to fight, and it was always planned that like you 2 were gonna fight, the rest of the brawl was not planned at all. I'm like, or largely not planned, then it's just like, well, these guys started it. It's whatever. It could have just been an easy 5-5, but then all these other guys had to act up.
But that's what I'm saying, because Rempe was ejected from the game.
Oh, yeah.
So that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. They said VZ and Lazar dropped the gloves first, which is hilarious.
That was
but which is hilarious because that's the fight that nobody fucking wants.
And they were the ones that got to stay in the box.
That doesn't make any.
No,
fucking
that does
sense
make
to
sense
me.
to me. I think the people who started the first people to fight should not be the ones ejected.
But that's what I'm saying, is that the fight was started. The line brawl was started because Rempe and McDermott were clearly going to fight.
Yeah, but they didn't fight first.
Yeah. I think
that's like
but
semantics.
Yeah, but
it is.
It is. But like when
and
you
it's
have
bordering on hit chat if I can editorialize.
When you have to have rules, and you can't just like if the rules are that the people who
But
drop
again,
them first.
like I can't remember the last line brawl that I've seen.
I mean,
where 8 guys get hit with or like not instigators. I guess it would be instigator or third man in or like whatever that fucking automatic ejection is. I can't remember the last line brawl I've seen where fucking 8 guys get hit with that.
That I agree with. The ejection, all of them being ejected doesn't make any sense to me. I do understand though that if you are going, like if the rules are that you should eject everybody, I think the people who drop gloves first make the most sense to be the ones that aren't ejected.
Oi, oi, oi. It was cool stuff.
I don't like the semantics around. That's my big take, is that I like the line brawl, don't like the semantics around the line brawl.
Got to get rid of refs.
BR Open Ice literally 8 seconds ago tweeted a quote from Matt Rempe, who thought he had no idea about the rule, and he thought he was going to have a good 5 minutes in the penalty box with the fellas.
Now you're going to see guys like racing to fucking just no me first.
Yeah.
or they all wait
time.
And
what
I'm
if
trying
they,
to get out of here.
What if they start a fight and they all time it perfectly?
It's like dodgeball. They're all
hey, everybody, we're putting our gloves down in 5, 4, 3, 2.
I think you got to do it in 4 and do 2, 3, 4, and then drop.
Like a dance battle.
Yeah,
West Side Story
2,
out here.
3,
Start
4.
snapping at each other as you
that
go
would be the
towards
funniest way to start an line
But
brawl.
you know what they could do though.
Page.
You know what? Is that some wise guys could say, okay, we're doing it on the and of 4.
Yeah.
So it'd be like 1, 2, 3, 4. Ah!
Yeah.
And they get theirs in first.
But the thing I would fear is
syncopation.
that you would ultimately end up with 10 ejections instead of 0.
Here's an idea. What if Matt Rempe and one of his teammates started fighting
Each other?
each other, and then went over to Curtis McDermott and like one of the other guys on the Devils and made them fight them. Tactically,
doubles.
Yeah, you got
the 2 Rangers would be fighting first.
Toss the
and then they suck the Devils into their trap, and the Devils players get ejected.
Classic trick.
Yeah,
I love
that's
that.
it's an old fighting trick.
That's like the hidden ball trick of hockey.
I love
Genius.
This is a good idea.
You have outsmarted the game.
I've found the loophole.
Analytics savant Pete Blackburn has figured out the loophole to gaming the system.
This is a good idea.
That's a good idea. We're not going to do a show clip probably today because we got to do a bunch of
show prep
meeting stuff. But if we were going to have a clip, I think that would be the clip. We found the hidden ball trick of the NHL. Fight each other, then say, "Hey, what do you say we combine parties?" Sir, take them away. All of them. They will not play again.
I love this idea. Big fan.
I also love what?
You love John Tortorella? Because that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, let's squeeze in Torts. John Tortorella gave an impassioned breakdown of his coaching philosophy, and we talk about Torts every day because there's always news with Torts every day, so here is the latest.
It comes down to, right? It always comes down, oh, they're going to quit on him. It follows me around. And so be it. If a player's going to quit on me, or players are going to quit on me because I'm trying to make them better people and better athletes, you got the wrong damn coach here, and you got the wrong damn people here. So I'm not sure what goes on. My job is I am going to push athletes, and I try to stay away from I have other things on my mind that I don't give you. I was in control the other night. What I said I meant. And quite honestly, when I watch the tape now, I'm more concerned than just the second period because I'm so proud of the team getting here. And I guess now the narrative out there is, because I've heard from other people, that they're young, they're not supposed to be here. Bullshit. We're here. We're here. Face it. And let's be better. And I don't think we're ready to be better. And that's my problem with us right now. And it is my job. I have not done a good enough job to get them over the hump after playing those 7 games. And then each game as it goes down, we have 6 left. I haven't done a good enough job to make them understand we have to be different now. We have to be at a different level. That's my frustration with me, and that's my frustration with the team. And if people can't handle it, so be it.
Flyers have lost 5 games in a row. They could legitimately miss the playoffs. So things are bad in Philadelphia right now. All eyes are on John Tortorella. Is he pissed at the team? He obviously gave that impassioned press conference on, I want to say, Monday night. All that was good from him, though.
Yeah.
That was all good, but that press conference, good behavior, Torts.
Yeah, he's explaining where he's coming from, and I agree with all the things that he said. Like, and I like that he addresses like the thing that follows him around is like he can't keep doing this because he'll lose the room eventually. He'll piss enough guys off. Like, I like him laying out his philosophy. There was some blowback yesterday. Was it Jay Onrate and Brian Hayes?
Brian Hayes, yes.
Brian Hayes were talking about it, and Brian Hayes basically said that like it's bad behavior from Torts because he's blaming everybody but himself. He always he always finds faults in everybody else except for him. That's not true. He literally just said, it's on me for not getting them to get to the next level. Like, I'm not coaching them well enough to get them to play up to where we currently are. And he's right that, like, if you're the Philadelphia Flyers, yes, a lot of people did not expect you to be here right now, but that doesn't mean that expectations don't shift. Like, they have been a good and respectable and winning team for 3/4 of the year, 80% of the year, 90% of the year. At what point does anybody look at that and then suddenly in the last 10% say, well, they weren't supposed to be here, so it's okay if the wheels fall off and they start playing like shit and losing every game? That's not how you approach that. Like, if you've been a good team for months, then you have to be a good team to close out the season, and it's not acceptable to lose 5 games in a row right before the playoffs and fall out of contention.
Yeah, he's accountable, and I think that he's also the don't worry about me, I worry about you type with players. And so, like, if he's giving it to a player, there isn't that kind of two-way street of, I'm not doing a good enough job here. Like, he sees it as he's in charge of himself. He's also in charge of these players, and that is correct. He's not going to be lovey-dovey with them, and he's not going to say, hey, what can I better do with you to get the performance that I want? He is more likely to come at it and say, this is what you need to be doing. This is what you're not doing. I'll fucking self-scout myself outside of here. I am the boss. I'm in charge. Yeah, players will get sick of it at points, but by and large, we hear players say nice things about John Tortorella, and the results mostly have been there this season. So I'm like pretty much pro Torts the whole way this season. The only thing that I haven't really liked was the Sean Couturier thing and the way that he was a bit of a baby in the media. But the stuff of him not being accountable, I think, is very incorrect. He's not going to be accountable one-on-one with players. But that's just being a hard ass, and we know that's what John Tortorella is.
Yeah. Let me ask you this question. Do you think that the Flyers, if they miss the playoffs, is this season a disappointment or a failure in any regard?
No, I think that you say, okay, like, we've got something here with Torts. And as we implement more guys, and as Drysdale's a year older, et cetera, we'll probably figure out our goaltending a little better in the offseason. You should expect to be better next year.
I mean, I agree with you in a sense, but if they don't make the playoffs, I do think that there is some element of failure. And it goes back to like what I just said. They were a good team for most of the year, and they were in a playoff position. They were third in the Metro for basically the entire season up until the final month of the year. And if they fall out in a Eastern Conference wildcard race that has just been a complete mess of shit, it's by their own it's by their own hand. They again, like I don't think that you can overlook the fact that the expectations for the Philadelphia Flyers have changed over the course of the season. And if they miss the playoffs, that is a failure.
We haven't done a like spike. Give it to him.
Like spike 3, 2, 1. Hit that thumbs up right below the YouTube player. We would much appreciate it. Thank you, Sean. Thanks for hyping up the moment. Also, if you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do that now, and we will be forever grateful and in your depth. And also, go check out the Columbus Blue Jackets Pro Shop.
Yeah, the Columbus Blue Jackets Pro Shop Wars was very good. It's about 5 minutes. It's long. We got a little Instagram post and reel and TikTok thing up there, but it doesn't have the full reveal. It's more looking at all the cool things in the Pro Shop. As we said, we had an absolute blast with the Blue Jackets. Hope to do more stuff with them in the future. Shout out our pal Stinger. I was going to say our guy Stinger, but I don't think that we always need to make everything heteronormative and male and cis white. I don't think that Stinger is white, but let's say Stinger's a girl. Do we know if Stinger's a guy or a girl? Has there been like a gender reveal on Stinger?
I don't want to reveal too much, but we know who's in the suit.
That is true. But whatever.
We've seen how the sausage has been made.
Bart Simpson is voiced by a woman.
It's true.
Yeah.
Stinger doesn't speak.
Okay. So shout out our girl Stinger. We love you, baby girl. So let's do a Slate Grade presented by Game Time. There are 9 games this evening. I am noticing as we get further and deeper and closer to the finish line for the NHL season, you're not getting a lot of these 13, 14 gamers. They're keeping it single digits. And I quite like that. I'd like better games, but let's take a look. 7 p.m. U.S., Bruins at Hurricanes. 7 p.m. Lightning at Canadians. 7 p.m. Panthers at Senators. 7 p.m. Penguins at Capitals. That one has playoff implications. 7 p.m. Islanders at Blue Jackets. 8 p.m. Blues at Predators.
Also playoff implications.
Also playoff implications on that. 8 p.m. Avalanche at Wild. 8 p.m. Flames at Jets. 10:30 p.m. Kings at Sharks. Another weird structure, stupid structure. No 10 o'clockers, but a 10:30er. 5, I believe. 7 p.m.s. Look, not a lot of great games. Bruins at Hurricanes is really good. Those are 2 potential Eastern Conference giants. Bruins coming off a good shutout win against the playoff team. Hurricanes, Dom Luszczyszyn's pick to win the Stanley Cup right now. Nothing to sneeze at there.
Pick.
His model. His friend who models says that the Hurricanes will win the Cup. Penguins at Capitals and Blues at Predators are the ones that are interesting for the sake of Blues trying to make one last-ditch effort to get in. Penguins also doing the same. So 3, I would say, good games out of 9, but no amazing. You got to sit down and watch this. Nothing really too exciting past 8 p.m., so I'm going to give this one an A-.
I think that's fair. It's a fair grade. You can also give us grades by heading to our YouTube channel after we're done being live here. Hit the video player on today's episode and drop us a comment grading today's show.
Love somebody said it's not Stinger, it's Sting, she/her.
Ooh, nice.
Stinger is a woman.
Sting is a woman.
No, Sting is a man named Gordon
Stinger.
Sumner, and he's a man.
Stinger, barely know her.
Barely know her. No, Sting is a man. Sting is actually, not only is Sting a man, he's a policeman.
That's
Did you know
true.
this?
Yeah.
Sting
Back
is
to
a
blue.
cop.
Back to blue. The Blue Jackets wear blue. We're all tying together here.
I did see something a few years ago that was like, shit that wouldn't fly today. 3 white guys starting a band called The Police.
That's fair.
Imagine if you were like, yo, who's this?
The
And they're like, the police. You'd be like, is it, what kind of message are they trying to make with this? What?
Have you ever seen the Key and Peele skit about the police?
Like the band?
Kind of.
No.
There's a skit where there's like aliens invading who they shapeshift into humans, and so they ask them these questions to try and decide if they're real or not. And at one point, it's obviously Keel and Peele, who are 2 black men, and a black guy comes up, and they're trying to figure out if he's an alien. They're like, "What do you think about the police?" And he's like, "I love their 3rd album," and then they shoot him
Oh my God.
because they knew he was an alien.
What's their 3rd album? Synchronicity, maybe? I'm on a Police kick. They're a great band. Shout out all those guys. Andy Summer.
If you don't buy a ticket to the Police concert, that's defunding the police.
That
Is it? I feel like you'd have to buy a ticket and then request that it was refunded to defund them. Otherwise, you're just not funding them.
What were the two arguments that were made heavily in 2020 on the police? There was
defund the police.
There was defund the police, and there was abolish the police.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think the abolish the police kind of got
That whole
kicked out
abolish
pretty
the police thing
I wasn't a fan of that.
was a little extreme,
Yeah.
I thought. And
well, there was also like the abolish ICE happening too, which is
Yeah.
where I think that kind of came from.
Oh, speaking of the police, I don't know how much longer we want to go. We're 20 minutes over, but there was a heist over Easter weekend.
Let's do a
There was a
little bonus.
heist over Easter weekend in California. $30 million was stolen. They have no idea what's going on, how the money was stolen. Big mystery. I'll tell you what, I love a good heist.
good job.
I love a good heist.
Whoever did that
Plus,
heist did it well.
we need
Plus,
more
it was
good heist movies.
Not only was it a heist, can you have is there a defining line between a burglary and a robbery in terms of a heist?
Yeah.
Because I think that you can have a heist that is both a burglary and a robbery, right?
Okay, so famously, the difference between a burglary and a robbery is contact.
Yeah.
A robber makes contact with somebody, is there with the person who is getting
Like the victimized.
who is getting
victim,
yeah. Yes, who is the victim. Whereas a burglar, no contact. They
Ninja.
get in, they get out, nobody sees anything, your ass got burgled. I don't know if there can be I think there can be a heist.
I think a
that
heist
is-
can fall under both categories.
I think that you can heist
I mean, this
without
sounds like a burgle. Like there was no one. No one interacted with them. So
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like this was a burglary heist.
Yeah.
I think that most when you watch the movies, a lot of like jewel heists, those are all burglaries. Granted, they end up tripping a laser.
That's not true. There's a lot of there's a lot of robbery heists
the Ocean's
in the
movies are robberies. Like they don't.
those are in plain sight.
They are. So that's where I think the gray area would kind of be is like. If no one knows, you're interacting with people, but no one knows that you're currently committing a crime.
Yeah, no, I think that at least in my mind, like a robbery, the victim has to know that they're being robbed. Otherwise, I would consider it a burglary.
I agree with that.
I think I would agree. Yeah.
I think that okay, so we're gonna rent out a movie theater, and the three of us are going to watch Ocean's 11.
Yes.
What if we just did an Ocean's marathon? You know which one I liked? Check out What a Good Guy I Am.
Ocean's
Oh
8.
God,
I liked the woman one.
I knew that was coming.
that movie stunk.
I thought it was
That
important.
movie stunk.
I thought it was important.
I don't really
Oh
remember
my
it.
God.
I liked what it said.
Oh God.
I did.
Ah.
Sorry, I don't like fighting in hockey, but I do like women robbery movies.
How'd you feel about the new
Chat, weigh in.
the all women's Ghostbusters? I haven't
didn't
seen any Ghostbusters.
That's the thing. I didn't fucking care about it because I don't fucking care about Ghostbusters.
that's completely fair.
And I saw a lot of times when people weigh in on things, like the Tucker Carlson freaking out about M&Ms and everything, I'm like, you don't eat M&Ms. M&Ms don't fucking matter to you. You only care because something has changed and you want to be mad about
You
it.
know, yeah.
With the Ghostbusters thing, I will say in defense of the fucking fat white guys that were screaming about women being in Ghostbusters, I was like, if I were to guess, I think those guys actually really do care about Ghostbusters. These seem like the type who watch Ghostbusters a lot. So if they want to be mad that they're remaking Ghostbusters, I would just try to say like minimize the sexism.
Yeah.
But I trust a fucking stupid white guy being really mad about a Ghostbusters thing because that Ghostbusters is
Does
probably
seem
really
like an
important.
authority on the subject.
Yeah, like Ghostbusters is probably really important to you. Like if they were like, hey, we're restarting the band Ween and it's going to be like an all woman thing. I get to have a take on it because I'm a Ween guy. I'm probably going to like it because like the more Ween, the better. But I'm allowed to have a take on it because that's like actually is my shit. I don't think like were there Ocean's heads that were feeling some kind of way about Ocean's 8?
I mean, I feel like Oceans isn't enough of like a. It's not a Star Wars. I don't know that there's an Oceans community.
I don't know if there's like Oceans.
I really like the original Oceans, or I like the first one, but like I wouldn't be an Ocean head.
My big thing is like if you wanted to make an all-woman heist movie, just make an all-woman heist movie. Why do you have to make a fucking Oceans movie and shoehorn like Sandra Bullock in to be related to Danny Ocean? That's what I didn't like about it.
I thought Sandra Bullock was really good. I thought the speech she gave at the end of the movie was really
talking
good.
about Barbie. That's a Barbie joke. Nice.
The thing that she did, you gotta be pretty, but you can't be too pretty, otherwise you're racist. That was a really good speech.
Is that what America Ferrera said?
Yes.
You can't be too pretty or else you're racist?
Yep.
All right, we'll see you next week, everybody.
What interesting characters we have on this show. Bye.
We all silly like the mayor.